Hey, it's Baxtak here with the third episode of the Outta Buddy Experience. In September 2021, I was on holiday in the Highlands region of Scotland, and I realized that Ben Cantil from Zebbler Encanti Experience lives in this area of Scotland. And I thought this was a good opportunity to drive to meet him, and while doing so, exploring this area's beautiful natural scenery. The episode was basically filmed on a GoPro and a couple of phones, so the quality is not amazing, but you get to see Ben's chickens, his working space in Applecross, and hear a conversation about synthesis, touring in China, music culture, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I hope you enjoy the conversation, and I'm not gonna tell you to like and subscribe. You can make that decision yourself. There he is.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Ben.
Ariane. Nice to
Ariane.
meet you.
And T.
T, come on in, guys. How was your journey?
Good. Very scenic.
So the idea is to, during the retreat, these are like the 24-hour noise rooms. You can come in here and make noise all through the night if you want. And then the house is going to be the quiet contemplation place where you make music in headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just look out a window. Catherine, since she's a writer, she's outfitted every room and every window to kind of have a writing nook, because she likes to sit by the sea and just, write her novel. And basically, I'm just putting a little power strip next to each of those and making it so you can sit there with a laptop and be in headphones. And you can make a beat throughout the day, and then at the end, you come in, hear how it sounds in the air, set up a sound system in the house and have at some point, share people's music. But otherwise, you can come out to one of the studios.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it'll be, in a week, everyone will make at least one track.
Yeah.
Make some banging track out here. Be fun.
Yeah.
This is my newest invention. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're doing that. But you can go so high, you can turns into a tone. Isn't that cool?
It's keeping the texture of the sounds really well. It's not like a I don't know how to describe it, but
it is granular, but it gives you a lot of options, really unique options for how to play back the grains, and you can get infinitely slow on this. That's the thing I like about this. Is if you're using the Euro rack, for instance, Clouds. There's the slowest rate that you can get. There's only so slow between the grains that you can get, but with this one, it's infinite. I can get to these. And I can pause in these places forever. If I just pause right there and now go into audio rate, it becomes an oscillator. And then, do you hear how it's kind of stereoized? Check this out. That stereo image is not a pan, it's a harmonic relationship to the frequency. So watch this. That rate is panning. So that's not an actual frequency that you're hearing. It's moving back and forth so fast that you hear this. You hear a rhythm.
Yeah.
It's superimposed. So playing with that and the rate.
this person who sent you this has no idea what's happening right now. It's it's kind of sending me a remix, and he's just
What the outcome is, noodling with how the data science aspect is programmed. You never know. Sometimes, there's sometimes that you just don't know where. Oh, if I say, hey, I want you to pick 1,000 different slices to recreate this kick drum. What's going to come out the other end? Who knows?
Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
Where do you
thing.
think this kind of thing takes it when you're talking about like I'll bring my chair. It makes more sense. Like ownership. Say if you were to credit this album properly on Spotify, would you have it featuring the name of your AI?
Well, I think that when I drop this album, I'll probably drop the research paper that I wrote around this album.
Okay.
Because I did this in fulfillment of my master's at the University of Edinburgh. And I had to write about 17,000 words about it.
Okay.
And a part of doing this ethically was finding ethically sourced samples. So I limited myself to only things that I could trace back to a license that I can defend. Because I didn't want to be like, you know, what did you do? Well, you know, I took my entire iTunes library and I recreated... That would be something on its own, you know?
Yeah.
But I actually list almost every sample that I used in the album in the research paper.
Oh, okay.
And better yet, I also list almost every preset that I made while doing this. So if you read the paper and you're really curious, you can actually go track down the sounds that I used to make a certain, you know, drums or melodies or something. And then you can punch in the parameters that I've got going on the audio mosaicing program, and you should be able to recreate any of these sounds.
Wow.
That was the idea, to kind of leave breadcrumbs for people that wanted to get into audio mosaicing.
I've always wanted to hear an album that has a published white paper associated with it. You don't really get that kind of... You don't get many projects that are like that, where you get a full fusion of the scientific and the artistic side together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the liner notes generation. I think these days, the one thing that we really lose on Spotify is, like, reading about the album. I used to open up the album and be like, oh, who produced this? Oh, whoa, that guy's a drummer on this? I didn't even hear that background singer in there. That's so cool. And then you got the lyrics, you know, basic information about the album. I think is a lost art.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with just generally albums. Like one thing on the YouTube channel we try to do is, you know, upload albums as a continuous listen. Yeah. And there's not many places you can have a continuous listen of an album. Yeah. And especially like in the Spotify age where, you know, you want to have like 2 highlight tracks from an album and like, oh, which one will get the most streams or whatever. So it's like the art of albums is actually being lost a little bit as well, which is then you get the like Edenic kind of conceptual side is also being lost because you can't do a concept album in 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, you can't have the single and have the album still hold. Then again, I think I have some tracks in here I didn't have as a single. The Orgasm Sound needs to have remixes and its own release and everything. I just posted like 15 seconds of that on my Instagram, and people were like, "Give me that track!" So I've got some friends remixing it right now. Nice. So that might be a little teaser before everything comes out. Damn. What was I gonna say? When we were listening to the album, I'm trying to write some notes while also making sure we don't fucking die on the hill. You know the passing places on the road?
Yeah. Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ.
Did you have a lot of people coming over?
Yeah, it was quite...
It was a busy... Well...
It's a nail biter.
It wasn't too bad, because, you know, it was our first time, so we weren't like, you know, had expectations of anything, and we just let people pass. Yeah.
I was going to send a search party if you weren't here by 4. I was just going to jump in the car and make sure you didn't cut a tire.
Well, I was going to call you, but then it said your number wasn't registered on my network for some reason. I didn't have internet. I literally had a moment, I was like,
spotty out here. That's why I knew. At a certain time, I was like, uh-oh, they're stuck on the mountain.
No, we're alive. We just couldn't stop, like, stopping for the views.
Yeah, we stopped twice. We're like, okay.
This, 270-degree wall of giant mountains, and you were in the middle. And there was a few deer as well.
Oh, nice.
It was amazing.
Yeah, we couldn't not stop.
Yeah, you could not stop to take and drink in the beauty out here.
It's stunning.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you some things about the previous album. but
Yeah,
then-
yeah. Let's talk about Sink or Swim. We're in the middle of Sink or Swim country right now.
Are we? Huh? Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I was trying to go back to like the first stuff I heard from you guys. I don't know what the first stuff was, but the first stuff I actually played out a lot was the Energy EP, and that was in Nepal. When I lived in Nepal, I was like, yeah, because I remember one distinctly. It was a Holi party, and I was playing all the Indian-inspired stuff there, and people were quite digging.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, but that was a massive shift from that like party sound EPs that you were doing to stuff like this. And for me,
Yeah.
the crossover for me was that Run DMT remix you did for that Gravitas. Was it Acid Trap?
Yeah,
compilation?
that was Run DMT and Subtronics.
Yeah.
Let's do Acid.
Yeah.
I did the really acidy mix. Actually, did 2 versions of that because I couldn't settle on what I wanted.
Yeah, I think that was when your stuff started getting a lot more like polyrhythmic, for me at least. I don't know if that was.
Yeah, I think around then, I remember that was the track I made while I was on tour in China.
China?
Yeah, Z was touring China with our amazing buddy Juan, who set up the whole thing, and he was on the Entrance remix album. But Juan's over there, big supporter of Psytrap and the Z sound and stuff. And I think on that tour I was running into a bunch of people that were really into Psytrance and really into like the trippy aspects. And so I was trying to make that track to like speak to this like cybergoth kind of, you know, Psytrance trap vibe that I was like absorbing over there in China. Yeah, cool style over there, and they got really, really open minds to fascinating music.
Is it kind of similar to the like stereotypical cyber goth Japanese cliche? They have,
No,
or
I
is
must
it
say
different
China
vibe?
has their own style.
Okay.
And you know, it was some awesome fashions over there, but also like just because their internet and their media is so closed off to the West.
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, there's a lot of curiosity for the West. On the other hand, there's a lot of like remixes and reinterpretations of the West that happen over in China that we don't necessarily get to see because they're also behind that wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, they're doing some really neat stuff over there.
They have like deconstructed club music type things.
Yeah, deconstructed club music and just like, you know, probably the best trap DJ I've ever heard in my life is in China. This
Who?
DJ called Asuka.
Okay.
And she calls herself Asuka, the trap queen of China. And she was so good, she blew my face off. And I invited her over to Burning Man, the last time Burning Man happened. And she said, okay, and she came. And at Burning Man, it's like, it doesn't matter who's playing. You just kind of, like, if you're good, people will descend upon your camp, you know? And she came up, I'm pretty sure no one knew who she was, and the set that she laid down was so dope that, like, art cars came across the playa to park in front of the sound system and, like, listen to her rage.
Oh, wow.
It was so good. So there, you know, there's a lot of innovation over there. There are 5 times more people in the United States, and they really have their own internal meme-based, like, really interesting like subcultures over there that we just don't see.
I should send you some stuff actually. There's one label that's now not working anymore, but it's run by a guy called Howie Lee. You might have heard of him. He's got like boiler rooms and stuff. It's very live performance meets synthesis. It's amazing. And the bunch of artists that he supported, they all actually take in a lot of Chinese influence into their music as well, and with animations. Actually, I think
Cool.
even Zebbler might be into it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely hook you up with another guy sent me a demo actually, and he was telling me like, I want to release this as a 33-track album about life and death and based on the philosophy of this random like Western philosopher, which I can't remember who it was. It's like, but if I release it with you guys, I won't be able to get any money for it because you're not allowed to accept money from like foreign companies or individuals.
Wow.
If you live in China. I don't know how that works exactly, but yeah, I mean that's another facet that comes into the closeness. It's not just the government.
Very
it's not
financially
cultural,
closed.
It's financial.
Yeah. You know what's amazing is that they don't really use paper money over there almost at all.
Digital yuan.
Totally digital. And I mean, I was at a club in Shanghai, and I had some yuan in my pocket, and I was like, I'm gonna go get a beer, and I go on over to the bar, and I hand it to this waitress, this bartender, who's like, she's looking at it like, I don't know what to do with this, and she had to like go upstairs, dust off a box, open it. No one had given her money in like a year at least. She had to ask her boss, like, I just got this. I think he wants change in a beer, you know? It was awkward. Like, even people selling like little, bow on the street have a little QR code. Even beggars, right? People asking for money, they don't ask for cash. They have a QR code, and you can be like, beep, beep, end the transaction. And it is actually, honestly, faster than any other financial transaction that we do in the US. They really got it figured out.
They actually, that's why they're cracking down on cryptocurrency so much as well. They don't want any competition with any kind of other
makes sense
financial asset. So they've shut down crypto exchanges, mining. I think you can still hold assets, but you're not allowed to buy them anymore. So yeah, I mean, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that comes to other places like the US as well, because I know the US is working on a digital dollar, but they're not. I don't know. They're not there yet.
Man, Westerners are stubborn. We're just stubborn in our ways about something.
It's weird because
like when I was in elementary school, they told me we're gonna have to learn the metric system because eventually we never got to the metric system. There's so many things that we're just stubbornly gonna do. And Americans love cash. We love it. We're never gonna have a dollar and a coin. We like to throw dollars. It's an American thing. So I think that that we have the technology, we have the capability to go more digital and more efficient with our money, but we just don't because we're stuck in our ways. That's just my theory.
That's a good theory. Yeah. I was also thinking, do you think people buy more merch in the US? I was thinking about this today. I feel like the whole merch culture might be a bit stronger in the US, even like artists that are not big. I see them sell out limited edition stuff all the time.
Yeah. Well, we've had a mixed history with merch,
As the...
Yeah.
I mean, you're wearing a Gravitas one right now.
I love my Gravitas.
Oh,
yeah, it keeps me warm. I love repping, independent brands and whenever friends come out with merch, especially in an era where you just consume music for free, basically, on SoundCloud or Spotify. You want to support the artists. You're not buying CDs anymore. So I think that there's a culture of people that they want to be fans. They want to rep the stuff that they're into. And it becomes a status thing, too. I think that, you're way cooler at the festival if you're repping, if you know who made your clothes, or if you're repping the artists that you're there to see. And I love it. I think it's a sign of a very healthy and supportive subculture.
Yeah. Also, maybe die-hardism is also a lot stronger there. How do you call it? Looking up to rock stars or DJs as actual rock stars, and kind of idolization. I feel like maybe in the UK, your favorite DJ comes into the pub and you're like, "You're right, you cunt," and it's a lot more like, it's this guy. He's like the best DJ in the world, but. Alright, mate, it's just chill. But I guess you also see it with people like Bass Nectar before his demise.
Yeah.
And those, what do you call them? The Bass Nectar kids? There's a name.
Feel so bad for them because they, a lot of these kids had tattoos that they've had to remove, and they really got into their communities through this artist, and but I think that it's given everyone an opportunity to look at well, wait a second, was it about the artist or was it about the friends we made along the way? And people are, I think, especially post-pandemic, we're taking a look at what's important to us. What can we live without and what can't we live without? And I think that the communities are coming back stronger and more creative than ever. I mean, there's a lot of artists. I mean, we're going through our creative renaissance right now. So many artists took the pandemic to like write great music. So every artist you see right now is like, this is my new shit, and everyone's like, yeah, you know, it's great. And I think it's been a really, really healthy readjustment for the scene and the world.
Do you think the scene that we operate in is especially creative, or is that just us sucking our own dicks? I mean, I'm not really an artist on that scene. I'm just observing it as a curator, really. But I do really feel like there's something very special in that scene. You take it from the culprits to the, I don't know.
Yeah.
Even the smaller time artists.
Well, let's see. I think that when you say a scene, we're going to say that scenes are not necessarily divided by borders. They could be something on the internet, or it could be something inside of a country. Like, I find that the festival culture in the United States is very different from the festival culture in Europe, probably a lot different than Australia, definitely a lot different than China. So you have different scenes around the world. Sometimes they're scenes created by the environment that they're in. Sometimes they're created by the exchange of information online. I find that the scenes, for me, the ones where I see the most creativity and the most innovation, it's not necessarily defined by where they're at, but more how open are they to change. You know? I think that there are a lot of scenes that are really closed to change, whether it's based around a genre, like I only listen to psytrance, or I only listen to drum and bass, or techno. If that's like, if you're really closed off on your influences, there's not going to be a ton of innovation in that scene.
You see that in the psytrance community in Europe is very much like that.
Like I'm gonna make more stuff that sounds like the stuff that we're already listening to. So I find that the best scenes out there for me are the melting pots, the ones that are curated. Like we're gonna start the day off with drum and bass, and then an afternoon we're gonna be in neuro, and then we're gonna come back to house music. And you can have a community that'll appreciate all those genres. I'm defaulting to genre, but it could be other things too. I've seen, one thing I love about American festivals is that you can have like Grateful Dead tribute and like, you know, like some rapper and like big headlining DJ and Spangle and some shoegaze at the same festival. And people are like, oh, that was great. I just saw the jam band. Now I'm going to go check out Skrillex, and then I'm going to check out String Cheese Incident. And that could all happen in like one place. And the community can be totally cool with that. You know, that is the vibe.
And even if they don't know that they're into that, they get to experience all of them. And because they're in an open mindset, they know they're at this festival, then they're likely to get into other types of music that they wouldn't have listened otherwise.
Exactly.
You know, like a jam band experience, if you listen to Spotify, it's never going to be the same as seeing a jam band live, and someone like your friend's like, you know, they're improvising, and then you're like, oh shit, they're literally making this on the spot? Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah. So I guess to come back to the question of like, what makes a community creative, I think that it's how the community works to curate their influences and to encourage creativity and thinking outside the box, and to encourage a melting pot, you know, and to be really open. That's something I love about the United States.
Do you feel secluded from that community being here?
Well, I mean, like, this last year, I think everyone's been secluded from the community. Even if you live in the middle of New York City, you're pretty secluded during the pandemic.
True.
So if I was to be secluded anywhere, I'm really glad that I was secluded in a nice, seclusive place like Scotland.
But now that the world's opening up a little bit, like, do you feel like you might start missing out on things? Because like there's definitely like a artistic and social dilemma or
they're intertwined.
Yeah.
I definitely, when I was in Denver for really briefly, I got to go to the Black Box. I love that venue out there.
Yeah.
We were at Cervantes, and I mean, just feeling the love for bass music felt like coming back to my home planet for sure. So I do think eventually I'm gonna have to spend some time around my people. You know, people that really appreciate the kind of stuff that.
Have you ever been to Bristol while you were here?
Bristol, I have not. I've actually explored a embarrassingly low amount of the UK since
So
moving here.
Bristol is like the UK's Denver in
Nice.
terms of bass music, like all the slug life people.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah.
Inspected.
Okay, I should get up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to visit a music city, I'd definitely say go visit Bristol.
I'm really excited for the UK to be opening up again because I have no idea what's happening where.
It was
all
quite
concerts
easy.
have been...
It was super easy for us to get here, by the way, with the plane and stuff. So if
Where'd you come from?
London.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Well,
so
you're
just-
still in the UK there.
Yeah, I mean, but getting the plane was also super easy.
Yeah.
We just take a driving license, not even a passport, and but it does feel like you're in another country. Like looking at this view and stuff.
Yeah. The Scots will remind you you're in another country.
I mean, yeah. I guess London itself is also a bit like its own country.
Yeah.
It doesn't really feel like other small towns in the UK.
London, small town. It'd be a small town in China.
True.
London? Oh, I'm from that village.
No, I mean like if you look at London against any other smaller town in the UK, it's a completely different.
Oh,
Like
it's
a
like it's its
metropolitan-
own. It's like a city-state, right?
Yeah, essentially it's a city
Yeah,
state.
they have different accents, different parts of London. Yeah, it's like New York too.
I was gonna ask you something else, but
I think
thanks
that
for holding that up to you. Well,
what you were asking before was like about seclusion. I think that it comes down to balance. Like when the pandemic came down, it turned out that I felt like it was actually a good time to be secluded. I needed seclusion. I needed some silence. I needed to be by myself and to switch off the world. Because like when you're making dance music, you're writing this music for this imaginary audience. You're like, all right, I'm going to play at this festival. Like, I want people to really rage and stuff. And I want it to, like, you're imagining this scenario that you're about to dive into. But if you take that away, what kind of music do you make?
yeah.
And maybe that's a really good question that everyone should be asking themselves. Like, what's your desert island music?
You said the same thing on the Bill podcast.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's something I think about a lot of the time, you know? Like, what's my desert island music? What music? If I had to, like, if I was the only person alive and I was the only person that mattered, it sounds really selfish.
I mean,
That's a really, you know,
it's your music.
That's the hole that goes inward. You
Yeah.
know? As, everything else on the outside is, like, partially imagined.
Okay, I remember one of those. When we were listening to the album, there was one of the songs I can't. Maybe it's ubiquitous. There's a sample saying false prophets.
Ah, yes.
What's that about? Why do you have a
False
sample saying false
prophets.
prophets? Is that just for fun?
Yeah, that's on Contact Traces.
What's that saying?
It says, bless the earth.
Okay. That one, yeah. It was a random question. It might be just it sounds.
No,
cool.
yeah, a lot of the time when I'm finding samples, I like to decontextualize them.
Okay.
Like, I don't like to... Sometimes I listen to a song or an acapella, and I'll hear a line, and I'm like, oh, that would be a really good line. Like, I just want to use that line. But if it's just one word or a syllable or something, sometimes I'm just scrubbing through, and I'm looking for that. Something that's decontextualized, you know? Because maybe if you think too much about what it means, then it means something different than if you just heard it for its timbre and the way it's said and these other
I mean,
characteristics.
it's said pretty nicely.
Yeah. And I think that I was just scrubbing through some acapellas and that jumped out. And, well, the song's
But
called...
it's definitely a term that jumps out as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a green elephant. You know, it's not like a...
False Prophets. And, yeah, I think that I threw it in there because the idea, the Contact Traces, kind of a shout out to the anxiety that goes with that came with the pandemic, you know?
Okay.
Like, the contact tracing was, like, figuring out who you've been in contact with and trying to reverse look up, like, where the virus is going and stuff like that. And
I like how you have your own app here, and when we went to Isle of Skye, they even had their own app there.
oh yeah, everyone's got the
Everyone's
QR
got it.
code. So I think that throwing false prophets in there is like there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's
Okay.
a lot of like things that you don't trust and that you do trust. I mean, not me, but like any given person. So it felt like an appropriate little little shout out to the misinformation.
Shout out to the misinformation. Yeah, so there was another one. There was the Handpans in, I think it's in Fixed Point in Motion.
Oh yeah.
Who played the Handpans?
Oh my gosh, so that is the best handpan player that I know, named Dan Mulqueen. And
Okay.
I met him at Spangle Live, and he does the handpan for Spangle songs.
Mhm.
And he's got a handpan in every key, and he combines them to do like
Oh,
different
wow.
modes and everything. He's got his own setup, and him and I became pretty good internet friends. And he was like, "Hey, I really want to make music sometime," and so I just started throwing tracks at him,
Mhm.
and he can turn around ideas like that. He sends me back like all these ideas, and so I just like take what he sends back and I cut around him. And with Fixed Point in Motion, I kind of sent it to him when the track was half done, and I'm like, I don't know where to go with this. So here's the track, and maybe you can make up some stuff. And he came up with this whole new chord progression. That's the chord progression at the end that comes in.
Yeah,
right
I think
here.
that's.
That's all Dan right there. He came up with that harmony.
And he's playing it that fast.
So I just latched onto what he was doing, which is why that track is like it's more than him playing. It's really a collaboration of.
You don't,
Right.
yeah, a lot of the times when you hear handpan music, it's very much in the same key, and it's not as exciting. That's the chord progressions on a handpan is quite unique.
Yeah, he was doing the
It's
arpeggios.
because you had so many of them, I guess.
And I was listening, and I was like, I hear the chord progression behind that. I'm gonna
Mhm.
try to follow you.
Mhm.
And that's actually honestly my favorite way to collaborate with people, is that like, you could just hand someone a chord progression and say, hey, sing over this, come up with the top line. And that's great, but when you're feeding off each other, that feels more like a musician connection to me. And that's how I've worked with Ganavia before. When we did Energy,
Mhm.
I was framing the song around what she did rather than making her do something for a song that was already there. So I started with her vocals. Same with that track, Immediacy. Like, I didn't know what the harmony would be in that song. We just went to the studio, I started looping her, and we kind of came up with that whole,
Yeah.
all the harmonies there, and felt like a conversation.
Yeah. You said you toured in China. Was that through, like, how'd that come about? Was it through Zebbler stuff?
That's
or-
100% the fault of one person, our friend Juan.
Okay.
Yeah, he's out there.
So he
So
basically
best
invited
friend.
you, and you did a tour? Or
Yeah,
just
no,
like-
he said come over to China, do a tour, and he put together the whole tour. He's a hell of a manager, agent, and he did stage managing for us and all the translating, and like Juan put
Yeah,
that
'cause
together,
your show's
2
not
tours
easy.
together as passion tours.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, he lined it up to where there would be the mixer that we need and projectors at
Mhm.
each show. So we did our audio-visual thing and did small places. We did a humongous club, kind of mixture of different live houses and clubs and stuff. And we had a fucking great time. That was awesome.
And you used to... Oh, is that... Oh, no, that's a chicken. Sorry, I thought it was a seagull. That's a different color. You also used to live in Spain for a while, right?
Hmm.
I remember Halfred came to stay with you.
Love Halfred.
Yeah, me too. Shout out Halfred.
Yeah.
When was that? That was a few years ago when I think you were making that.
Well,
Song for
Halfred and I
Gravitas.
were internet friends for, a while. I admired his work so much,
Mhm.
and he liked my stuff, and it's so great when you find an artist that you like that likes your stuff. You're like, we're friends. And then it turned out he lived in northern Italy, and I lived in Valencia, and it was like, hey, you want to just come over one weekend? Like, you're a small flight away, actually. Looking at the map there, it's like just going up and down UK, it would be the same equivalent. And he said, okay. And he just jumped on a flight and he came out for like a couple days. And just in those days, we were already making like 1 or 2 really good tracks. He's so much fun to work with.
Like a live stream or something. I remember tuning into it.
Oh,
I have this weird memory of this.
Yeah, we probably did. Yeah, we made some. I just love working with Halfred. He's so creative. He's such a flow state. Like, he can take the reins for 5 minutes or 3 hours, and just lean into the ideas and be really, really pleasant to work with. I mean, he's one of my favorite artists to work with. I will always work with Halfred.
To be like me, also in like a label position, I've also like he's probably the only artist that's been on every single compilation I've put out.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think he in the last one he became the longest running thread between all the compilations.
Yeah, the Halfred thread. Have you heard of stuff with Lorenzo?
Jakare.
Yeah, Jakare. Oh my gosh, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
it's so good.
You love Jakare as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rare to hear that level of detail and technicality in. It was rare. I think some other people are picking up the pace, but in the like more folktronica sound, you don't get the crispy tech bass knowledge a lot of the times. There's a lot more fluent sounds, but they bring that squelchiness. And Lorenzo as well. He's an incredible musician. Actually, if you're looking for samples, he's putting something together very soon.
Nice.
Like hundreds. He's making a bundle for us, which I can send you. It will be like stone, water, grapes.
I can run it through my machine learning stuff.
Exactly.
And show you how it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I was trying to look at. Can you film this motherfucker?
Oh, that beastie right there.
What's that one?
She's only a year old, and she's that big. We call her Dino. She's a little dinosaur.
How many do you have now?
Oh, we gotta take a head count. Probably 14.
Wow.
Yeah, we've had to dispatch some roosters recently,
Oh no.
so our count is down.
Are they noisy in the morning?
Very noisy in the morning. They let you know that they're awake. They let you know they're going to bed. But multiple roosters, it's like a power struggle.
I love how like this is where you work. This is your speakers, and right behind it is there's a whole bunch of them.
These little visitors all day.
Do they have like any pet qualities? Like if you call them, do they come up to you to be petted or anything?
Oh yeah.
Sweet. Are we getting a little? Yeah, let's get a little demonstration.
No, the chickens. So this is their favorite food.
We can both film.
Dried mealworms. It's their favorite food.
Oh, I had a chameleon once, and it was live mealworms.
Look, they already know. They hear the bag. Hey. Some of them are shy. Other ones, like this one, she'll come right up.
Seagull's probably like, damn, I wish it was nicer.
Ah! Don't be mean to it. Like, that's our one rooster, that little guy right there. That's Popcorn. And he's the smallest. Because he's a pygmy chicken. But he's got a big personality. And he, no one messes with Popcorn.
Popcorn!
Here, let's get him over there.
No, this is a phone. I mean, it's a camera. You can't eat it.
Come on, baby. Oh, this one's so shy. This is so special. This one is named Dreamcatcher.
More like mealworm catcher.
This here is Marge, and I think this is the most beautiful hen we have. This is Bjornina. Look at those feathers.
Oh yeah, this is There's a nice gold. It's almost like what's that one with the peacock?
Yeah, she looks like Peacock.
Oh, I love it. Have you ever tasted these mealworms?
Actually, I haven't. Not on purpose.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh, yeah,
Oh damn, son.
go.
Oh shit, boy. Getting a little nibble on my hand. Huh? Hey, oh, hey, hey. There you go. Dope spot. Wait, should give a shout out. What is it called? Eagle Rock?
Eagle Rock.
Eagle Rock.
Eagle Rock Applecross.
Represent.
We got the cheat sheet. We'd love to have you back sometime,
Yeah.
and we can hang out in here. Oh, you both live in London.
Yeah.
I would love to come visit London sometime.
Yeah, if you wanted to come, definitely let me know.
Okay.
I'm sure between us we can find you somewhere to play, somewhere to stay as well.
Yeah, I'm super down. The world's opening back up again. Nice. Anyway, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Man.
Nice to meet you as well, dude.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting
Oh,
us.
let's take a selfie together.
Oh yeah, shit. I think that's a great way to end this video.
Yeah.